is responsible leadership. You may or may not have heard of this before. It's certainly not a term I've coined that exists outside of my world, but it's a practice of making strategic decisions and actions that create value for all stakeholders, not just shareholders, right? Which includes the environment and market in which you operate as a business, and the place and the culture and the communities in which you exist, and the markets in which you serve. This is just a framework in which to see strategic decision making. There's a couple on there. Excellent. Right. So, and traditionally, and all the way back to kind of Milton's sort of time, quite a few years ago, businesses were traditionally measured success by only one metric, and that is profit. It's evolved. Everything evolves, right? Like things evolve, business evolves, strategy evolves. How our expectations for what good strategy and good business is evolves over time. And don't get me wrong, right? I am not one of those climate people who think profit is bad. I am massively for profit. How you make profit and how you spend profit is much more important. So the triple bottom lines broadens our strategic decision-making framework, the perspective we take when we look at designing business strategy. We include your employees, we include your customers, we include your stakeholders and investors, but also the cultures and communities in which you operate and exist. On the planet, dead simple, how your business uses resources and impacts on the environment in which you operate and the market in which you serve. But doing those two things, focusing on people and planet, looking at our business strategy decisions through people and planet, gives us the opportunity to design good profit, right? In fact, in the impact investment network and impact strategy work I've done within the last 12 months, we've seen this sort of strategic decision making create supernormal profits, right? And have opened up new competitive advantages and markets, access to markets that you do not have access to when you do just serve products and services. Right, it's a really good kind of lens to do it. It's not a new strategic tool, but it is a new way about thinking and doing business. Your business strategy should be one strategy that has a positive impact on people, planet, and profit. It's not three separate things. We're not asking you to do more work. Just think about the work you do differently. You've got to ask the frameworks the right question, right, in order to get an actionable insight out of the tool. Understanding that sort of where you are today is a real good foundation, because understanding drives effectiveness. Knowledge and information doesn't change anything. You have to really understand. Real magic and effectiveness comes from you understanding which questions you need to ask for your business. When we look at any change project in an organization or change strategy in an organization, we think about a thing called readiness and have a readiness score. Like, how ready are we to take this next level? How ready are we to jump over this chasm? How ready are we to open the door to this new market, this new opportunity, right? So this idea of readiness gives us a better holistic view, viewed through three lenses. You should make every strategic decision looking through these three lenses. Mapping is especially useful, actually, when strategy that you're designing is not linear or transactional, but is full of wonderful, intangible human elements like reputation, credibility, trust, emotion, opinion, which sustainability and climate change and stuff like that is. In strategy design, though, we fancy it up a little bit. It's called a through line. Right? And through lines exist everywhere, right? They help us visualize where we are today, so the beginning point, and where we want to be at a defined point in the future, whatever the length of the strategy is you're looking at. Also, it needs to show us what needs to be true along that way. This is where the leadership skill of making intelligent assumptions comes in. We're all capable of intelligent assumptions. The key is the intelligent bit. There's a mental framework that I like to use that comes from innovation strategy. So innovation is just doing something new or different. So every time you design a strategy, it's technically innovation, right? It's called the three horizons. Verbally and very simply, the horizons framework says that every strategy owner or leader needs to have visibility of three horizons within their business. The first horizon, horizon one, is the near term. This is your core business. This is the stuff that you need to do well day on, day in, day out, right? Your bread and butter, the foundational things. What do we need to be good at? Your key activities, if you speak business model innovation language, right? This is usually 90 days in length in this country, I would say. But these are the foundations from which you can build new and interesting strategies. The second horizon is 12 to 18 months after that, usually, as a ballpark, and that's horizon two. And this is what comes next. This is your exploratory areas, right? Your exploratory growth areas. If everything goes well in the next 90 days, what does that allow us to do next? Right. And the third horizon is whatever long term looks like for you. These are your exciting growth areas. This is where you make massive, interesting, compelling, visionary impact in the world. This is where each stage might have a planning tool of a through line, right? There's one through line that goes all the way, but you might be looking at section one for today.